guys, it's Peanut and Ice Cream Bar. This is going to be a continuation of Mars's character videos. If you haven't seen the intro or the cocktail based off this character, you can click here or in the links down below. I don't have him with me today because I'm actually right in the middle of making a wig video, and he is in it. So today we'll be discussing backstory, or really just story. This character's fairly new, so I don't really know everything about him yet, at least not as much as I know my other characters. For example, I don't really know that much about his childhood. All I know is that it was fairly average, no emotional upheaval, no trauma of any kind. His only real struggle was, and still is, that he's a quiet sort of person. He's introverted. He has trouble forming relationships with people of any kind, and thus has grown into a sort of jealous, angry, bitter adult on the inside, which he hides under layers of awkward politeness, sadness, emotional detachment, you know, the normal stuff, as well as a strong desire to be seen by others, to catch attention. Look at me! Because his social anxieties and unfounded fears of rejection prevent him from being too boisterous or gregarious, he instead finds solace in being visually attention-grabbing! Was that too much? Did that grab your attention too much? It makes him feel less invisible to have, you know, creative colored hair, for his living space to be really bright and bold, for his clothes to stand out. It makes him feel calm. It calms him down. Despite all this effort, though, he's still the kind of person that you see walking down the street and you're like, oh look, blue hair, not, what a fashionable young man. You know, it's his body language, or his facial expressions, or the fact that maybe you could have seen him for 3 years walking down that street and you still have no idea what his voice sounds like. He's just the kind of person who's very forgettable. So that's Marshall at the beginning of the story. He's the amazing invisible man, and he's just become old enough to realize he's incredibly unfulfilled in life. I mean, he works at an antique mall, which kind of satisfies his desire, his interest in interior design, but the only thing he ever really designs is his apartment. He doesn't really have any friends, he doesn't really go out and do anything despite having, you know, a decent place to live in a nice part of town, and part of him doesn't really even understand why his life is like that. So his story really begins when he decides to drown his sorrow by window shopping at his favorite antique store, which happens to be in the basement of the antique mall where he works. At this particular antique store, they have these really, really wonderful, really, really old, everything's like 100+ years old, antiques, imports, things like that, and he just likes to peruse the aisles, because it's nice, and, you know, because he's a giant man-child, and he's very introverted and shy, he likes that he's often the only customer there, which is why, when he sees a mysterious man with red hair, he immediately avoids that man. Now, for the next few weeks, whenever he visits this store, he's seeing this mysterious man with red hair, you know, just out of the corner of his eye, just passing out of view, reflected in a mirror. Eventually, he sees this man admiring a ring and then walking away. As he walks away, he hears a little plink, a little clink, a little plinky clink. Okay, stop that forever. He goes to investigate this sound, and he finds a ring lying on the ground in front of a glass case that holds more jewelry. All of a sudden, without really understanding why, he just thinks to himself, he really wants this ring right here that was on the floor. Because, I don't know, I just really like it. It seems like a good thing to have. So he goes to buy it, and he has his very first conversation with the owner of the store, who tells him that the stone in the ring is called hemimorphite, which is supposed to help you develop inner happiness, teach responsibility for your own happiness, and develop strength, personal strength. Soon after he buys it and begins wearing it every day, strange things start to happen in his apartment. He shrugs it off at first, but eventually he starts to believe his apartment is actually haunted. One night, during a really bad spell of this haunting-like stuff happening, he gets totally freaked out, runs out of his apartment across the hall to his neighbor's apartment. His neighbor is a lovely young lady named Detroit, and he pretty much just admits to her, "Oh my god, my apartment's haunted, I'm so scared, blah, 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 blah." Eventually, Detroit calms him down enough for him to become embarrassed and say, never mind, it's not really haunted, I am a normal person. So he tries to take back the whole haunting thing, but Detroit, much to his surprise, says that she actually thinks she knows someone who can help him. She takes him to meet her friend Ron, who works at kind of like a new age crystal mineral witch kind of store, and claims that her great-grandparents practiced the black arts. She's a very dramatic lady. She tells Mars that she thinks he might be in danger. She thinks that the ghosts are trying to warn him of some sort of coming, pending doom that he might be facing, and that he might be really in touch with the spirit world that is magnified, like his own natural power is being magnified by this ring that he's picked up. But most importantly, she says that to figure out what's really going on, they've got to confront the ghosts. Marshall and Detroit go back to his apartment to attempt to confront the ghosts. Detroit falls asleep before anything happens, and Marshall is left alone. During that night, he's confronted by a terrifying apparition. That probably wasn't scary at all. Or maybe it was! But before anything dangerous or violent happens, the room suddenly turns pink, and his ring begins to glow, and out of it pops the image of the man with red hair. This man blocks the attack of the ghost, and quickly after that, disappears. Mars has recognized this man instantly and immediately wakes up Detroit, tells her everything, and Detroit calls Ron to tell her all about their experience. So that's all we're gonna get to today. I hope that you are liking it all. Good. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I will talk to you later. Bye!